So I thought, Simone, for our last video, that I do probably something, a dish that I do quite commonly at home to pump up our vegetable intake for the week. So perhaps in the beginning of the week, maybe on a Sunday or a Monday, I might do this up, and it sort of keeps me going. A lot of it can, you can sort of eat it through the week, sort of thing. So I'm doing a tray bake essentially, and it's as simple as the name implies. I've got some baby carrots here with beautiful feathery tops that I don't cut off either, because they crisp up quite beautifully in the oven, and so that adds to our green intake. I've got some perfectly vibrant beetroot. I love the beetroot for its sweetness. I've cut them into wedges as well. Haven't peeled any of them, Simone. I understand the phytonutrients. There's a lot of phytonutrients concentrated within the skin. So I've given them a good scrub and just left the skins on. I've got almost highlighted pumpkin here, super bright orange. We've got some purple cabbage. I've got some broccolini, more of our cruciferous veg. To add a bit of pizzazz to the tray bake, I've got some fennel, which is not a vegetable that I commonly use, Simone, but I think it adds a bit of a gourmet restaurant feel for me anyway. And I've got some onion there as well, some red onion I've chosen. Over on this tray over here, I've got some zucchini that I've sliced up, some eggplant as well. That's almost black on the skin, but quite beautifully, sort of a yellowish sort of tinge on the inside for the flesh. Really lovely meaty vegetable that I use quite commonly. I've got some mushrooms, some super handsome looking mushrooms. Whenever I think mushrooms, Simone, I think in Bangladesh, my father knows these as mushrooms being frogs' umbrellas. So whenever I see mushrooms, I think of my dad. And that's the very reason why he actually doesn't eat them, because he thinks they're umbrellas for frogs and he shouldn't be interfering with that. And last of all, you know what? I'm trying something different. I've added some grapes to my tray bake because I understand roasted grapes are pretty yum. Have you tried them, Simone?
I haven't, no.
So that's what we're doing. As always, I'm looking at the colors, Simone. I'm looking at the textures that I've got here, the different shapes, the stiffness, the rigidity of the stems versus the tops of the broccolini. They smell super fresh.
Delicious.
And so, yeah, all I pretty much do is grab some olive oil.
And why do you put some oil in there?
You know what? Olive oil is, oh my goodness. I think we could do a whole video up on olive oil. I put the olive oil on first and foremost because of the flavor that it contributes to the dish, to the fact that it aids in the caramelization. So all of the carbohydrates, the sugars within the vegetables sort of come up and hug the olive oil and create this caramelization that adds to the taste. Olive oil is predominantly monounsaturated fat, of course, which is fantastic for general health as well. In addition, a lot of the vitamins, particularly the fat-soluble vitamins, take on the olive oil and are better absorbed. So a lot of the fat-soluble vitamins that you find in these vegetables are better absorbed when they're in the company of olive oil. It's kind of like the olive oil and the fat-soluble vitamins hop into the same Uber, Simone, and go from the small intestine into the blood.
Yeah.
And with company, they tend to go into when they're sharing the Uber, they tend to go into the blood more efficiently. And olive oil is absolutely bursting at the seams with phytonutrients, right? Which the gut microbiota just love, as I've talked about before, and feast on, and therefore help us out multi-systemically are beneficial for us. So really nice, generous dollop of olive oil. I'm going to pop them, and you're going to ask me next why I've got them on two different trays, Simone?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I've got them on two different trays because a frequent question that I have is, should we be putting them all in the one hit? Really, there are some vegetables that take a bit longer in the oven and others that don't. And generally speaking, rule of thumb is those vegetables that are a little bit lower in moisture content, such as your root vegetables, your garlic, and your onion as well, they tend to take a bit longer. So I'm talking between about 30 to even 40 minutes for the pumpkin sometimes, depending on the moisture content. Whereas these vegetables, like I've got zook here and the eggplant, I've got mushrooms and grapes, obviously higher moisture content, so they probably need about 15 to 20 minutes. So what I tend to do is put the tough guys in first, and then at the 20-minute mark, I'll follow with the other vegetables that I consider a little softer and a little higher in moisture.
Lovely.
So I'm going to switch on the oven to about, I go with about 180 fan forced. Does it within about 20-30 minutes, and I'll slip them in. Oh, I almost forgot. So I'm super generous with the pepper. I love the simplicity of this dish, the fact that it's simple but just so packed full of flavor and nourishment, and a nice lot of seasoning. And I think an added thing, Simone, is that in all our videos, we've shown sort of different things to do with veggies, and very importantly, we've tried to prepare them in different ways. And I think that's a really important point, to bake them sometimes and to have some raw, and then to stir fry some. And so there's many different ways of preparation, and we should embrace each and every one, because they all just, they bring out different aspects of vegetables that make them so tasty and good to eat. So they're in the oven, and you know what? I've actually prepared all of these already, and served them out. And so here, it's pretty impressive, right? It's like it's like a proper cooking show, really. I've always wanted to do this in my life. I'm very excited about this. So so here are some of the vegetables that we were playing with. They've been, as I said, sort of about 30 minutes for the harder vegetables, like the pumpkin and the beetroot and the carrots, whereas the zook and the mushrooms took a little less time.
That's amazing.
Yeah, what to do with them? What I love to do is I baked roasted some garlic, Simone. So what you could immediately do if you were to have the garlic as part of the tray break is actually squeeze the garlic out. And if they're soft enough, you could actually just spread them over the vegetables to add some lovely garlicky flavour. I've actually made a cashew cream made out super simple. Soaked cashews, some nutritional yeast, some lemon juice and some salt and pepper. And I tend to do, this is my go-to, I really love this sauce, so I'd probably pour it over the tray bake like so. So that's great for, let's say, dinner right now, Simone, but what's left, well, gosh, the sky's the limit with what you can do with it. You could put you could warm the leftover vegetables up the next day, and I probably would recommend that you don't pop them in the microwave if that's your go-to, because it tends to make them quite soggy and thin. You're probably better off placing it on a hot skillet and giving it a little bit of a reheat. So you could have it as an accompaniment for your next meal, or you could place it in a salad, or you could place the vegetables all blended up in a soup. You could place them in a focaccia and have a toasted sandwich with them. A lot of stuff to do over the week with them. A lot of opportunities at lunchtime to use these veggies too. So there you have it, Simone. My tray bake. What do you think?
It's amazing. Thank you so much, Tess.
You're welcome.
This brings us to the end of the video series, where we show how we translate NIRI's research into practice.
Yeah.
And now, to finalize, if I could just ask you, what are the main takeaway messages from all these videos?
Yeah. So being healthy and health and well-being, I believe, is all about eating nourishing, satisfying food that makes your taste buds dance, that you love, and combining that with joyful movement. So movement, so that brings you joy too, within the capacity that your body allows. Finding opportunities regularly for a good load of self-compassion, being kind to yourself, finding presence whenever you can. So practicing being present in the here and now, wherever you can, whatever you're doing, whether it be cooking or walking or brushing your teeth, and finding connection with people that mean a lot to you.
Thank you, Tess. Amazing.
You too. Thanks for joining us, folks.